Hi, I'm Brad, I'm 15, and how do we know that the food we eat is safe?
Hi, I'm Jeff Wolt. I'm a professor of agronomy here at Iowa State University. And how do we know the food that we eat is safe? As someone who works in the area of crop production, this is a question we get very often, and it's an important question. We have standards that are set by government authorities that tell us how to evaluate foods in terms of their safety. And so scientists use these standards to conduct studies that allow us to determine whether a food is safe or not. Now, depending on the type of food we might be concerned with, the types of studies might be very different. Let's look at some examples of them. One type of food that we might encounter every day is a food that's been eaten by humans throughout time, that's been eaten historically as long as we can go back by humans. We would consider these foods to be generally recognized as safe. That term is often shortened to GRAS, or grass. So if you hear somebody say a food is grass, that means that historically we understand that humans have eaten it for a long, long time and it's not going to harm us. An example would be wheat. Wheat is something that we find in food products all the time. Bread, cereals, a lot of desserts like cakes and pies. And so we eat wheat very commonly, and it's generally recognized as safe. Now, there are other types of foods that we do not have that historical information on. These would be food ingredients, something that we've specially used and we add to foods when we process them. An example might be, let's say, a protein that's in wheat that we purify out of the wheat, and then we use it in a manufacturing process and add it to a number of different foods. This is called a food ingredient. For a new food ingredient, scientists have to do a number of studies to show how the material's manufactured, whether or not it's toxic to animals, and whether or not we're exposed to it and what levels we're exposed at. Once those studies are completed, then scientists can say these food ingredients are safe. One way we can know our food is safe is that when we go to the grocery store, if you look on the shelves, all the foods are going to have a label. And if you look on the label, they have lists of ingredients. All of those ingredients that are on the label have been evaluated for their safety to assure us that those products in the market are safe. Another thing that's been done is that the process by which those foods come out of the farmer's field and go all the way to the marketplace have been evaluated for safety as well. So we know if the food is in the marketplace, it's been judged to be safe by scientists and government regulators. However, I need to warn you that just because we say a food is safe doesn't mean that it's not going to occasionally harm someone. What would be an example? Well, let's look at wheat. I told you wheat was grass. It's generally recognized as safe. But there are a few people in our population that are going to be allergic to wheat, and so they've got to avoid it in their diet. How do they do that? Well, they use the label. They need to be aware that they're allergic to that food or food ingredients from wheat, and when they read the label, they look to see whether it contains, the food they're buying contains wheat. And knowing that, they know what to do in terms of protecting themselves. So part of food safety is to be aware of the food that you eat. And so, in short, we know our foods are safe because government regulations require us to evaluate all parts of the food chain, and we do studies of the foods and we label the foods so that we know what ingredients they contain and that those ingredients are safe.